Hi, my name is Drew, and if we haven't met before, welcome to ReadyBudgetGo. If it's not your first time visiting my channel, welcome back. I'm glad you're here either way. It is the middle of August, so it's time for me to do my September budget. The year is flying by, and I don't feel at all prepared for the holidays or end of year travel or a bunch of other things that are coming up. So I'm going to put together a plan right now that helps me to have the money available for the things that I need to pay for toward the end of the year. I'm doing this month's budget completely from scratch. I've done zero prep work, and that's deliberate, so that I show the whole process of how I put together my monthly budget. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go. Before I get started with putting in actual numbers for what my plan is for September, I need to gather some documents and some old trackers to refer to see if there's anything special that I need to anticipate for the month. So I'm going to set these blanks aside for now. And the first thing that I need to do is go and look at my annual subscriptions to see if there's anything coming up in September. So going through the list, there's a couple that I just added in August. There's a couple that were going to be in August that I canceled. But the next time I have a subscription coming up is November. So I'm good for September and October too, but I'll review this again before I do my October budget. So that is taken care of. I'm just going to flip through here, see if there's anything else I need to look at. So here's some non-monthly recurring expenses, and I probably should plan to get my hair cut at some point in September. So I'm going to take a mental note that I need to put that in. I think that's it for this section, yes. So the other documents that I refer to are my year ago budget, so the September 2025 budget, and the current month's budget, which is August of 2026. So let me go into my archive here. Oh, I opened right up to it. How about that? So September, we'll pull all of these out. I fill out 5 budget sheets each month. I have my monthly budget overview that tracks my income, my bills, my weekly spending, my stockpiles or sinking funds, and any savings or extra debt payment. I don't have any extra debt. I don't have debt. So this is all savings for me, but if I had debt, that would go in this section as well. I also have my cash allocation sheet, and this is where I determine what I'm going to do with my wallet spend money or just my regular spending money, where that's going, and my stockpiles. And this really should be extra savings, but I have it listed as stockpiles. Monthly cash flow tracker. This is basically like a check register where I write down everything that comes into and out of my checking account so that I stay on top of that. Monthly expense tracker. So this is anything that I spend during the month on that comes out of the wallet spend. I track that here. And then finally, a month-end review. So this is the most important page to review from the year ago budget, I would say, because this is where I write in things to remember for this time next year. Cancel Nebula subscription. I believe I've already done that, but if not, I will do that. And the PUD bill came in high. Now, PUD was electricity at my previous residence, so I don't necessarily need to worry about that now. I've got an entirely different set of circumstances after the big move. Interestingly, I'm also going to look at the other 2 sections so that I know what went well and what needs improvement. So went well at or under budget 2 out of the 4 weeks. That's good. Carryover from August helped with medical costs. Again, different set of circumstances this year. What needs improvement? Better plan for in-office weeks. I no longer have in-office weeks. I'm full-time work from home. Switch to PPO health plan. I did that at the start of the year. And household expenses need a stockpile. I've taken care of that. So based on my notes from last year, I'm in pretty good shape. So I'm going to keep these out of the binder because they will not come back in. Once I make my budget for September, these documents get shredded. Okay, so back to the start of the binder, because I also need to refer to the August budget. And the reason that I'm referring to both is because this is my current circumstances, and this is more referring to anything that happened in that month for the year prior. So, my income is closer here to what it's going to be in September. all of these bills might be different, but I might have some that are the same, or it will trigger something that, oh yes, I paid that in September last year, I need to watch out for it again. So I'm just going to keep that here to refer to. But let's take out the monthly budget. I'm going to get a writing board out here. Let's take out the monthly budget overview, and we'll get Magna Carta on the case here. So satisfying. There we go. So we're budgeting for September 2026. Income, I anticipate, will be the same as last year, or this month, August, right? So paycheck 1 and paycheck 2, and also cell reimbursement. Now, I did have some fluctuation on my recent paycheck, the one that I just got, and it came in higher than I expected. And the reason for the fluctuation was something with the state or local income tax. I don't know why. But I'm going to anticipate that this will be $26.55 again. If it isn't, then I will make adjustments. And I will be sure to leave myself enough of a buffer to absorb any minor variances. Okay. So because these didn't change, I didn't bother with the calculator here. So now it's time to list out the bills. So first up, we have rent and utilities, and I really hope that these come as one bill this month because I've been promised that the last 3 months and it hasn't happened. I put in $18.50 here. I think I may need to bump that up based on the last bill. I'm going to plan for $18.85, or $18.80 rather. iCloud is always the same, $3 whole. But even though it's only $3, I still plan for it. YouTube Premium, $18. And the date on this is kind of squishy. Sometimes it comes out on the 6th, sometimes it's not till the 10th. It varies. Okay, then on the 22nd, we have Spectrum. Which is my home internet, $50. 24th, we have Visible, which is my cell phone plan, $35. I'm not going to plan for RTA because I already haven't spent this money in August. I haven't taken transit all month, so I'm not going to plan for that, and I will not plan for utilities separate because I covered it here. The reason why this is separate here is because the utilities bill came in separately from the rent. So I had already paid the rent, and then utilities came in 5 days later. So I just had that as a separate transaction. All right, so now I need to look at the year ago budget and just see if there's anything in here that I need to consider for this year. Lots of, okay, so I need to make sure that Nebula subscription is canceled. Lots of miscellaneous, lots of medical that I don't have this year. Okay, so I don't think I need to worry anything else about that, but I am going to plan to get myself a haircut on or around the 15th. And it might be earlier than that. And I will plan for 40. It kind of depends on where I go, how much that costs. My first haircut here in Ohio, I paid like $27 with tip, and the next one was $41 at a different place, so we'll see. Okay, so that is all my bills. It's not a lot, especially compared with last year, there was a whole bunch. So let's get out, excuse me, let's get out Irma and add up how much this comes out to. So 1880 plus 3 plus 18 plus 50 plus 35 plus 40 is 2026. And I need to be updating these here as well. So 5,410, 2026. Now, in September, there are 4 Fridays, and that is how my wallet spending goes. So this will be the 4th, the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th. And I am going to try to stick to the 250 again. It's not going super awesome so far in August, but my hope is by September I have that kind of on lock. So that's going to be $1,000. Stockpiles, this is by Monday, and there are 4 Mondays in September: the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th. Each week I plan on 100. So a total of 400 there. So now I need to kind of back into savings and extra debt. There are 5 Tuesday, Wednesday combos in September, and that's how I do this. So I need to plan for 5 weeks. So I'm going to start with 5410. I'm going to subtract 2026. I'm going to subtract 1000, and I'm going to subtract 400, and that leaves me with 1984. Because income is a little bit shaky, I am going to leave a remainder of 184. And I'm going to say this is 1800 here. I think that's right. Divided by 5 weeks. Yeah, so we'll do 360 a week. So that is, I'm going to do this by the Wednesday, the 2nd, the 9th, the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th, 360 per week. And that comes out to 1800. So that essentially is the budget plan for September. It's all set. I know how much I'm going to bring in, how much my bills are, how much I plan on spending each week, how much I plan to put toward my stockpiles or sinking funds, and how much I want to put toward extra savings, with a remainder of 184. Some folks I know like to plan out every single dollar. I don't. That gives me a whole lot of stress and anxiety, because then what ends up happening is things come in over or under and I have to move stuff around. I'm already going to have to deal with the overs and unders. But if I have essentially a small slush fund, $184 isn't that big. That allows me to just absorb those overages without having to say, okay, well, what am I not going to do that was part of my plan to accommodate that overage? Because things happen, things happen. I also have the blip fund, which is what allows me to kind of breathe easier if I have a big unexpected expense. I do have essentially a budget buffer. Okay, so that sheet is done. Let's move on to filling in some of the others. The cash allocation is next. And this is where I decide where my money is going to be going for my wallet spend and for my, essentially this is extra savings. So I'm just going to cross that out here and write that in. Okay, so in the wallet spend, again referring to the sheet that we just did, we have the 4th, we have the 11th, we have the 18th, and we have the 25th. And I did that wrong. So, in the spirit of, this is not going to be something that I do twice. This video is not going to be something I do twice. I'm just going to get the white out and pretend that didn't happen. Okay, so the name. I used to give myself a certain amount of cash each week and everything else was credit card. Now it's all just card. So I'm just going to use ditto marks here. But we do need to mark the 4th, the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th. And it's going to be $250 each week. Now, I really don't need to be doing this each month anymore. It was helpful or beneficial when I was doing that differently with card and cash. But since it's all card, it's kind of a redundant exercise, but I still do it because it's here. In my extra savings, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with that. So this is where looking at the current month is also beneficial. because I already have a plan for this month for where all of those different things are going. And because we're still in the month, this is not yet fully executed, but I need to figure out, is there anything else that I need to be planning for? So I'm going to get out my budget tracker sheets here, my budget tracker binder, and a weight to hold this flap open. I prefer magnetic closure myself. I don't like the zips, I don't like the snaps, but dealing with the flap is kind of a pain in the butt. Okay. So this is okay. I think that, actually, you know what? Let's see when that Amazon needs to be paid. Let's just look. Amazon Prime, ooh, it's January, and it's about 160 bucks. And I'm already negative, so I probably should plan a little bit more in here. I think I should put 150 in that. So let's say that's going to come out of the first week. And remember, I'm doing 360 a week. So Amazon Prime. The first Wednesday is the second. That is going to get 150. So I still have 210 from that week that I need to allocate somewhere. Clothes and shoes, I think, is okay. I don't need any of those. Household is kind of chugging along. Entertainment and media is okay. Medical is okay. Technology is okay. It's not urgent. Eyewear, I just bought and I used my flexible spending, so that's fine. Gifts and special events. Now this month I am planning on 450, and I'm trying to think, is that enough for Christmas? I don't think it is. So I'm going to put the rest of the money from week 1 into gifts and special events. So that's going to be 210. Because remember too, these envelopes or these categories are all getting money from the Monday videos as well. Credit card annual fees, I know I need 650 in here by November, but I already have that planned for with the August allocation, so we're good there. Travel and transportation, I've got money going in there for 750. I've already paid for my flights for FinCon in September in Palm Springs. I haven't paid for the hotel yet, but it's not that much money. The 750 will cover it. There's probably incidentals that I need to plan on though. So I'm going to do a little bit more into travel. I'm going to say travel is going to get 200. And that'll be from the 9th. I may need even more than that because I'm actually spending another night in Cincinnati on the way back because I changed my flights to fly there instead, so we'll see. Personal care is okay. Add to cart and Bonanza, that means Black Friday. I think I'm okay. If there are great deals on Christmas presents that I might need, then I will take that from the gifts and special events. But I don't think I'm going to add any more to that. And then we're done. Okay, so what that means is that I can start working on my next goal for, one moment here, my next goal for my annual goals. So if I flip back to the front of the binder here, so these first 5 are ones that I've already completed. What I have left is all sinking funds fully funded by end of year. I've already accepted I'm not going to make that. That is a stretch goal and a half by now. Contribute the full $24,500 to my 401k. I'm working on that. And then stockpile $7,500 toward 2027 Roth IRA. So that is really the next goal. So everything else from the September allocation can go to the 2027 Roth IRA. So let's write that in here, 2027 Roth. So on the 9th, that will be 160. I'm going to use ditto marks. On the 16th, that'll get the full 360. On the 23rd, the full 360. And on the 30th, the full 360. So I just want to make sure, actually, I'm going to write this in, 360, 360. I want to make sure that this all adds up to the $1,800 that I said I was going to put into these buckets on the budget overview. So 150, 210, 200, 160, 360, 360, and 360. 1,800. Perfect. So that's 1,800. This is 1,000. Thanks, Irma. Okay, so the cash allocation is done. This sheet is done. Let's move on to the monthly cash flow tracker. Only if I can separate the pages. There we go. So this is going to be for September 2026. I obviously don't have the beginning or ending balance yet, so those will stay blank and then everything else stays blank. So this is set up and ready to go. Next is the expense tracker. So this is where I track all of my credit card spending for the week, everything except for business expenses. So September 2026, and that's all I need to do there. And then lastly, but certainly not least, I need to fill in the month-end review with what I know now. So September 2026, total income plan, 5,410. Bills, 2026. Wallet, 1,000. Stockpiles, 400. Savings, 1,800. No debt, and remainder of 184. So that is what I know now. We'll see how this shakes out at the end of September, and I'll come back and fill that in a weekly reel video. But that is it. That is the whole month planned. So I have my budget overview, my cash allocation, my cash flow tracker, my expense tracker, and my month-end review all set up to start budgeting in September. The only thing that's left to do is for me to hole punch these and stick them in this binder behind the August budget so that when August is done, I just pull this out and the September pages are right here and ready to go. That's how I budget for the month. You got to see the entire process. We are at about 22 minutes plus the intro probably makes it 23. Had I not been narrating what I was doing, I probably could have done this whole process in under 15 minutes. But that is how I do my budget now. It wasn't always this simple. If you don't do a monthly budget yet, I encourage you to do it. It will make you not just more accountable, but it will give you peace of mind. Even if you overspend, you are at least acknowledging it and you know what's in front of you and how to take care of it. Because I overspend all the time. If you watch my weekly videos, you've seen how I don't always hit the mark, especially up here. But I'm able to adjust. I leave myself the remainder. I'm not saying everybody has to budget this way, but whatever method makes sense to you, as long as you're making a plan and tracking to the plan, whether you hit it or not, that will truly change your outlook on your financial life. I can promise you that. Thank you again so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and until I see you in the next one, take care.